and welcome to the Needle Creations Crochet Video Workshop. We're here to show you how to do some techniques and along with some tips on how to create your crochet project. This segment we're going to be working on a crochet dog. His name's Carl. You'll see everything comes nicely within your package. You have fiber fill, yarn, instructions, your plastic eyes and nose, a plastic needle, a plastic crochet hook. Now the white yarn has already been rolled for you. I suggest you roll these into a ball before you start working on your project. And what you're going to need are just some basic sewing supplies like a pair of scissors. There's a great set of instructions. The skill level is listed as intermediate. Make sure that you understand your instructions before you begin and practice the stitches being used so that you don't become overwhelmed working on your project. Your kit will come with a 3.5 millimeter hook. It may be white, it may be blue. Many of us have our favorite hook, but we recommend you use the hook that comes with this kit to maintain gauge or the tension of your fabric so you won't run out of yarn. There's 5 different areas to a hook: the head, the throat or the neck, the shaft, the thumb rest, and then there's the handle. You can hold it like this or you can hold it like this. The head of the hook is smaller and pointed so it makes it easy to go in, but your stitch should always be equal with the shaft part of your hook, and that also will help you with your gauge. You may find that there's a little bit of a rough spot on the top of the head. Lightly smooth that out. Many crochet instructions will include a gauge check before you begin. Having the correct tension, which is how tight or loose you crochet, is important to your project coming out to the correct size and will ensure that you don't run out of yarn. You'll single crochet a swatch and you'll count the number of rows and stitches across to make sure that it matches what your instructions say. Also on your instructions, you're going to see your abbreviations. Make sure you understand each one, the colors of the yarn, the various stitches. If you have to repeat any instructions, you will see an asterisk or brackets, then your other abbreviations. Each instruction sheet will have great graphics on what stitches are used for this project. If you need a refresher to practice any of them, please check our crochet stitches video. All right, now we're going to start with the head. We'll make a slip knot on our hook, chain 2, place 6 single crochet in that second chain from the hook. 1, 2, 3, and I kind of hold on to my tail and work around that or work over it. 4, 5, 6. Count your stitches to make sure. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Pull that to tighten, and after we get a few rounds, we're going to weave that in. Take another yarn color to use as a marker, and we're going to increase 6 stitches. So that's 2 stitches in each single crochet. So that's increase 1, increase 2, and this is stitches 11 and 12. Take your marker, move it up. This is where the instructions will show that your information is in a bracket. So it's going to say single crochet in the next single crochet, 2 single crochet in the next stitch. Do that 6 times. That means you're going to be increasing 6 stitches. So we're going to repeat it again. Single crochet in the next stitch, 2 single crochet in the next. So that's 2 times. And you complete this around following your instructions, increasing on each round. Now when we get to round 11, this is where you can put markers for your eye placement if you want. This is not written in the instruction, but this is a little tip. We're going to single crochet in 23 stitches. And now we're going to take another piece of different color yarn as a marker. Single crochet 8 stitches. Place another marker. And complete your round. Now, as you're working on this, you're going to start decreasing. Stop at around row 17 or 18 to actually be able to get up in here and punch the eyes. The nose piece and plastic go separate. Each eye is like a little plastic screw and a bolt. Now we're going to go on the first eye over here. Insert the eye right in through that space where you had that marker. Okay, flip it over. Use the cup side to just put over that and clip it in place. There you go. This is also where you're going to add the orbit, which is your circle that's going to go over the eye. I suggest you go ahead and make your orbit when you stop at this point. Come up through the space where I've got that marked for the eye, and you want to offset just a little bit. Come in about the third row. 1, 2, 3. I'm going to pull that through. So now you know where to punch the other eye. Push this one through. All right, so we're going to use that, and we're going to take our needle and sew our orbit in place and just kind of stitch around. And this you have to have a little bit of patience. It gets a little awkward, which is why I stopped at the row that I did to make it a little easier to sew things. And now we're going to finish the head. I stopped at row 18, so we increased, making it larger, and now we're decreasing, cutting down stitches each round. Okay, so first single crochet in the next 3 stitches. 1, 2, 3, and then decrease. So that's 2 stitches together. Let me do that again. Single crochet in the next 3. 1, 2, 3, and decrease is pull up the loop. Next stitch, pull up the loop. You've got 3 loops on there. That's a decrease. You're going to find that sometimes the yarn is tied together. I try to work right over that. Keeping that knot to the back, I'm going to work over those pieces and work them in. And this is how we're going to change color. So rounds 8 through 10 on the tail, we're going to change to the white. So you don't complete the last stitch. You pull up a loop. You take your color that you're changing to, pull that loop through to finish off the stitch. Now I like to tie a little knot to kind of hold it in place. And then I'll work over the yarn as I'm crocheting. And then we continue on. Now normally you should put a marker here, but you won't need to because you're going to see the color where it changes. So you just single crochet around, working over that piece. Each one of your pieces, your body, your head, legs, arms, ears, nose, and the tail, are all made working in the rounds in a similar method, just using a different amount of stitches on increases and decreases. The only difference is our scarf, and it's 3 rows of single crochet straight stitching. Now we're going to punch our nose. The nose goes just above your center beginning ring. Pop it in between the first round or the second round. This is a little bit bigger than the eyes, so it may be you may have to just add a little pressure. And again, like I say, it's a cup. Push it over the top. Make sure you hear it snap. Some of these pop in easier than others. With my yarn tail, which is going to be used for sewing, I run every 2 stitches, just kind of run around the outer edge. And that way I can draw it up just a little bit. This just kind of pulls the nose in and shapes it a little. And now we're going to start stuffing our pieces and attaching Carl together. Now your fiber fill is going to come packaged like this. Take it out, it's very condensed, so it looks like there might not be enough, but watch what happens when you pull it out. There's a lot more here than what you think by looking at it. And I just kind of pull it apart a little bit, pull off a little piece, but I've already stuffed the body. I'm going to stuff the head, push it in, shape it as you go, and use your thumb. You can use a pencil. I don't like using too many small pieces in the larger portions of the body and the head. A large piece packs easier. Take another bit and put it in the nose. There we go. Now you've pulled this up a little bit. Now we're going to position the nose right between the eyes. You see, he's starting to look more like a dog now. And it's going to be on the second row up from the lower edge of the head. And we're just going to go around and stitch him in place. Make sure you hold this steady. Keep it even. Just be patient. I'm going to shape him up just a little bit, shape the nose up. Now finish stuffing all of your pieces. So we have arms and legs and the tail. Now the ears aren't stuffed, and of course you have the straight piece for the scarf that you don't need to stuff. Now when we're adding stuffing to the legs, I like to just try to fill the lower piece. Just very slightly add some to the top because it makes it easier to sew them in place and for them to move around when you don't have them stuffed so tightly. Now we're going to sew the head to the body. You've got the same amount of stitches. So just holding this in place and just start stitching. And these are matched stitch by stitch. Okay, we have our head in place. We're just going to run this through. Now, since I have such a long yarn tail on this, I'm going to use it to also sew on the arms. So the arms are the shorter pieces. The legs, you can see here, they're a little bit longer. And the arms are positioned, just kind of look at it, but come down from the top about round 3. Fold it in half. I like to sew it from this direction. Hold it in place. And then stitch it in place. And see, I've got both sides. So you don't need to stitch it on the other side as long as you were able to pick up both. Now I'll flip it over. I just kind of run this through. And we're ready to sew on the other side. All right, so you sew all the other pieces on as I showed. The legs on the body underneath start 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it's like on the 5th and 6th round you do the legs. The ears are done in the same method. You're going to go right above the orbit, and it's round 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6 and 7, somewhere like that, and just kind of position your ears on each side, sew them in place. Take your scarf, tie it around his neck, and see, that kind of holds his head up a little better. And there you have it. There's Carl. And if you have any questions, you can contact us via email, help@askacrafter.com. I love to crochet.